Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I know, like I said, we'll probably still have more people hopping on, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm really excited about tonight because it's something that I am very passionate about. And I'm really excited about hearing these two ladies share tonight. But before we do, I'm just going to talk about something that we already know, and that is living in America has gotten a lot more expensive, as we already know. Obviously, most of us on here are women, and when we go to the grocery store, we feel it every single week. Or every day, depending on how often you go. It seems like every time I do my Walmart order, I tell my husband, okay, that went up a whole other dollar, and something's got to give. And so, not only that, my children have played sports in the past, and we know how expensive those things are. If you want to have your children in any kind of music lessons, private lessons, art kind of things, those kind of things have gone up. And not only that, a lot of people can't even afford them anymore due to the fact that they're having to pay just for basic necessities. And so, as a family, we definitely feel the pinch of inflation and all the things that are going on right now. And I looked up, just out of curiosity, how much an average adult debt, how much debt an average adult in America has. Now, this includes credit cards, mortgages, and everything. So it includes everything, and this is just averaged out across all adults in America. It's about $58,000, and some of that obviously would be your home, and that's just an average. But still, whenever we think about how much debt that we're carrying, it does kind of lend you to go, there's got to be another way. And obviously, we're not going to go on a Dave Ramsey talk here. It's something that I also really want to talk about, but we're not doing that. We're actually talking about how to make an extra stream of income, because the truth of the matter is, in order to pay off debt, you got to make more money, or you got to get more creative with the money that you already have. Okay. And so if you are living in America, there's actually somebody who just hopped on in Mexico. It doesn't matter really where you are living. You need to be finding extra ways to make money. And we're going to be talking more about that, and how that this has been a blessing. This particular thing has been a blessing for the ladies that are going to be sharing tonight. But it doesn't really matter what circumstances you find yourself in, even in retirement. Like, you don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck, okay, regardless of whether you have children or not. So I know that some of the ladies on here have been doing Plexus for a while, but just in the chat, tell me. I just wanted to see, whenever you first started, what was the reason that you started for? Whenever you started this, or whenever you started making extra money, or maybe when you caught the thought of how this could be a blessing to your family, what was the reason why? Mine was groceries. I wanted extra money for grocery money. So what was yours? Type that in the chat. Or if you are new and you're thinking about this, what would $300 to $500 extra a month look like for you? Okay, so we have daycare options. I think that is huge. Groceries, clothing. Okay, anything extra, helping purchase products and fun stuff for your kids. Yeah. So all of us kind of have different reasons why. And I thought that was interesting about daycare. A lot of moms are like, that's what they're working for, is for daycare. So having something else to take care of that so that your money actually goes towards the family, that's a huge blessing too. Okay. So whenever you join Plexus, you got this amazing thing called your referral link. Okay. It's sort of like whenever you go to a blog or somebody's Instagram and they say, oh, check out my Amazon affiliate link. Well, they get money for that every time that you click on it and you order something from it. So whenever you join Plexus, you got something very similar in your back pocket. And a lot of people just leave it in their pocket. And it is a way to make extra money. And so you have an affiliate link, you have a referral link that goes just to you, and you can already share something that you love. And you may be like, well, I haven't even really tried these products yet. I'm just kind of getting started. That's okay too, because There's going to be some testimonies tonight of people that actually started for this business. You may not even know that you love these products yet, but you know that they're good. And so you have a referral link that you can share something, whether you love or you don't know if you love it yet. Okay, maybe you're on this call and you love your products and you're like, maybe it'll work for me. Maybe you are just barely making the ability to pay for your products and finances are kind of getting in the way. There's no reason for that whenever you have this amazing thing that we're going to be talking about tonight in your hands. We don't ever want finances to get in the way of you being able to feel good and feeling like a good mom and feeling like a good wife and being able to be successful in the things that you do, whether that's at a job or whether that's at home. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to, first I'm going to let Miss Crystal talk for us tonight, and she's going to tell you, she hasn't even been with Plexus for very long, and she's going to share with you when she started and how this business has been a blessing to her and whether or not she even started for this income opportunity. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Hey, everybody. So, yes, I'm Crystal Thurman. I started, actually ordered my products on April 30th. So I got them the first week in May, started the first week in May, and loved them. I noticed that very first month that I started having more energy, less sugar cravings. So I noticed right away that I was feeling better, but I had no intention whatsoever, none whatsoever, of making this a business or even sharing it or telling anybody about it. But Valerie, who I had ordered from and who I knew, encouraged me to have a Zoom. So I did, and I invited several people to it. Some of my closest friends showed up to that. And to my surprise, 3 of those wanted to start on the product that night. So the very first Zoom I had, 3 of my friends started on it, and they're still on it. 4 months later, they love it. And even before that, I had prayed. Sorry, my dog's making some noise over there. So really, truly, I was nervous. I'm not a salesy person. I don't like to be pushy. But truly, I had prayed, Lord, if this is going to help people, then you bless it. And it is something that it helps people. It's helped me. I really didn't know what I was doing, didn't really know that much about it at that point. But now I am almost into my 5th month and I am a believer 100%. So, and I'm now starting to get those messages back from people. Well, thank you, for introducing me to Plexus. It's doing this, it's doing that. So it's really exciting to get those messages back because it really is. It's really making a difference in people's lives. So for me, started for the products, didn't start for a business. But after that initial Zoom, I just started sharing. You get excited when it's helping you. So you just start telling other people, and everybody that you see, you're thinking, oh, you need this. This is going to help with this. This is going to help with that. So God just has really blessed it. I've had multiple people try it and love it. Few people have left, but for the majority, most people, it's really helped and they're really liking it. As far as the business piece goes, there's ranks, and I've ranked up 3 times, and really that was just in a 2-month period. So I've been able to maintain that. The money's definitely been a bonus. I've been able to start my whole family on the products, and then just having the extra income has been great. You get these little emails saying $50 has been deposited. I got one today saying $120 has been deposited, $500 has been deposited. So definitely I'm a blessing with the economy now and the inflation that's going on. But truly, God's just blessed it. I'm a full-time nurse. I'm a wife. I'm a pastor's wife. I have 2 teenage boys. So just very blessed, unsure really what's in our future, unsure why the Lord's blessed this so much, but he has blessed it. And so I am just enjoying it, and it's truly been a blessing.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So you work full-time as a nurse, right?
Yes.
And how often do you work?
So I work maybe 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes to an hour a day, if that. Um, Most weekends, I pretty much take off. I don't really do anything over the weekend. So it's very flexible. Sometimes I might send a few messages in the morning before work. At lunchtime, I might send a few messages. So that's a great question because I can work it easily around my schedule.
Okay, good. And then you're working, let's see, 312s as a nurse?
No, I work 40 hours a week.
Okay, so 40 hours a week. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been able to, but as a working mom and wife, you've been able to see that this works very well alongside of your job, and it's been a supplement to the income that you already had. And not only that, she didn't say that, but you earned something during this time.
I did. I'm still in shock. So I was able to earn the cruise. So I'm learning that Plexus is very generous. So I'm excited. We're going on a cruise in November.
And it is not just going to be any cruise. Plexus does everything like top of the line. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm so excited for you. You need that vacation. So she's a pastor's wife, full-time nurse, and now she's a gold ambassador and is going cruising in November. Okay. So that just lets you know that there's all walks of life that do this business. And so I'm going to shoot it over to our next pastor's wife, which honestly, y'all, I really did not mean for this to happen, but there are 3 pastor's wives on this call right now that are going to be sharing their story. That was not intentional in the least. Honestly, I chose these 2 ladies to share, and I asked them because of very specific reasons, and it just so happened that they were pastor's wives. So that is funny. But anyway, okay, I'm going to shoot it over to Sarah, and she's going to share how this business has been a blessing to her. And I've also asked her to share very specifically about something because she was with another company before, and she didn't leave that company for Plexus, but she left that company for a reason. And I wanted to share how is Plexus different. So along with your story, if you can weave in how you found Plexus to be different than your previous company.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, Ashley. And I'm sorry, just now this weird like cricket sound is going on. It's somewhere in here and it's so loud right now. I'm like, what is happening? So anyway, if you can hear it, I'm sorry. So anyway, yeah, I've been with Plexus for a little over 2 years. I started in July of 2021 and it's been really good. And I had started as well for health reasons, mainly just having some issues that was going on gut related. So Julie was a friend of mine from my previous company that I was with. She was actually my customer. And so I reached out to her because of some posts that she was making about her health. And I had really went through some really bad things in 2020. Who didn't, right? But that's kind of when mine started, gut related, but also some anxiety and just had to get put on some medicine and different stuff like that. And I knew that I didn't want that to be my story as far as that goes. So I was really searching for something, and the Lord allowed me to. My husband was waving. The Lord allowed me to be able to talk with Julie about that, and I know that that was definitely something that I was in need of health wise. So as far as like financially, I mean, I knew what it meant to work for a business online, and because I had just done that for 4 years. So I knew kind of like this could bring money in, but it definitely was more of my health. But then when I started realizing that this was something that I needed every month, then for me, it was kind of like, well, let me see what the business is because I'm going to have this paid for somehow. And I know we financially could not have done it every month. Just, I'm a pastor's wife as well as she said. And at the time we were homeschooling our kids. And so I knew that it was something that I would need to do and look into seeing how I could get an income with it. So when that kind of started playing out, I saw kind of the difference from what it was from where I was at due to the amount of work I had to do. And I did quickly, like Crystal was saying, I did it very quickly. I did it so quickly that I was struggling to understand what I was even doing. And I'm even at this, like, as in, like, wrapping my mind around everything. I constantly was asking Julie questions about what it even meant, because it was learning a whole nother compensation plan than what I had been doing previously. And just getting my mind wrapped around it. And it was like she said, I kept getting these emails that I was getting money here, money there. And I was like, I don't even know how I was getting that, but it was happening. But just by sharing with others what had happened for me in my health. And I think for me, I may have had a little bit of a lead, I guess, in a way of I'd already had kind of like that thing finally quit. That was piercing my ear. Um, Kind of already had a customer list, if you will, but I had to shift it completely from what I was doing before to this. So that was helpful, but then at the same time, I guess I had to come across differently because we weren't talking makeup, we're talking health. So I had to shift my whole outlook on how I did some things. But I think once I started doing it and the income started coming in, I was like, but I'm not really doing a lot. So I was very confused as to why it was like I wasn't having to work as hard. Um, and I was still getting that income. So that was a blessing when I realized that I was not having to put in all those hours, especially in the beginning when I didn't really understand what it all meant. And then of course, just learning through Julie, she would explain it. I would probably ask the same exact thing constantly about what it even meant to be silver. Like, what does that even mean? And those kinds of things. And I was just ranking and ranking, and I didn't understand what it was. Um, but once I kind of got grasped that and then realized what it could be, that's when I was like, okay, this is going to be a little bit easier than what I thought work wise. Now, where I'm at 2.5 years later, I'm senior gold, and I feel like I'm in that next little spot where I have a big jump to make, um, of from there to Ruby. And so I look at it as smaller. Like, I look at it as, well, instead of just thinking this huge jump, what can I do as far as like little things? And so that for me is when they have incentives, I work for those. I love those kinds of things. I love the trips. I love the little things to work for. When I have a goal to work for, it's like in my sight, and I go for it. So I love how they break things down like that. And the Lord allowed me to be able to have, I know this may be new to some of you, but we do it by point system. And so I just had a goal to do 300 points in September or in August, and the Lord let me hit that. So, each time just doing a little bit more, a little bit more. But more importantly than that was seeing the people that are doing this with me that are getting healthy, that are feeling better. So I guess relating that to my previous business, I was with a makeup company for 4 years, and I went very fast in that one too. In fact, I went all the way up to almost to the top. I was what you would consider two down from the top of the company. And I did that fairly quickly as well. But it was a lot of hours. It was uh, a lot of face in the camera kind of a thing, because it was makeup. So I was doing tutorials like each day, doing a lot of lives. And then I was doing a lot of trainings and things like that. So it did get a little overwhelming at times and burnt out. And the difference that I have found out with Plexus is, yes, it depends on how far you want to go. I like how Julie always puts it. It's, at least for our team anyway, it's like a buffet table. You can get what you want as little as you want. Like, she was explaining it to one of my customers the other day, and she was like, I really don't want to go fast at this. And she was like, well, then you can just eat little by little like a turtle. But we also have this over here for the people who would like to push this and go for more of a financial need. And so I really like that, because for me, I don't feel like I do a lot, but yet I'm bringing in a really good income as of right now. And I'm not working every day. There are days where I don't even pick up my phone because I can't, or I don't want to, or whatever. Where previously I felt like I had to be on it constantly. There was color matches just all the time. But I feel like with this one, I have more freedom to be able to be not more of myself, but just more real, because I'm being very personal about how it has been with me and my health, being very personal about, how it's helped my family. And then when you see people on Facebook or on Instagram or If you have family, you have see people out and about that that are struggling. I think that's been the biggest thing for me that was like changing, because you see them hurting and you're like, oh, I have something that might help you, so that was really cool for me to be able to say I'm helping people in that way, where it's not just, yeah, buy this lipstick, buy this mascara, which was so fun. I loved doing that. I loved the whole, and I wasn't even a makeup person, but I loved what I learned through that. I loved meeting people. I liked doing the lives. I know that's weird. I loved lives. I loved doing all of that, but it was just, at the end of the day, I didn't really feel like I had helped anyone in a sense. So this has been really neat. Like I had a 3-way call with Julie today, and a friend who was on Facebook, and she was, in my opinion, just crying out for help. And I mean, if you will, just not really, but the way that she was posting pictures of herself, she was miserable. And I'm like, I really wanted to help her and see her change. And so I think at the end of the day, yeah, the money is awesome with the amount of work I have to do, but it's helping those people feel better and knowing that it can help them if they stay consistent with it. So I think that for me was the best thing is, yes, I don't have to work as hard, but if I want to, it's there and I can, depending on how far I want to go with it. And then earning the trips and things like that. That's just a bonus to be able to take your husband on and stuff like that. So I hope that
yes,
somewhat
that did.
answered.
And just like Crystal, you earned the cruise.
Yes.
And you'll be cruising in November. So that's so exciting. And
Yes,
so all your hard work did pay off. And that is the wonderful thing about Plexus to me, is that you can put in and invest whatever you want to invest, and you get out of it usually what you put into it. And so I love what you shared, though, about the difference in helping people. Like, okay, yeah, you were making a woman feel more confident in herself with makeup. And I think that's important. It's really important for us to feel good, but feeling good from the inside out and being able to be a present mom and present wife, that only comes from feeling better. And so I really love that. So I'm going to just close things out. I'm just going to share just about 2 minutes worth of our story. I'm also a pastor's wife. Again, that was very unintentional. I had asked a couple other people to share tonight in hopes that they would kind of offer some different perspectives. Sarah's a stay-at-home mom, right? Okay, so used to homeschool, but stays home now. And we've had a working mom, and I'm also a stay-at-home mom of 5, and I homeschool our children, and it's a crazy madhouse all day long, which is why I'm in my bedroom right now. So anyway, I actually started this business 7 years ago, and I was literally desperate for money. I needed something because my husband was a teacher with his bachelor's degree. It wasn't one of those fancy smancy ones. And at the time, he wasn't pastoring. And so we were just poor ministry people that were just doing the job with no benefits. And he was teaching and sick all the time. His health was in a complete and utter mess. And so not only was I working very hard, I had 3 boys, 3 and 4 years and under at that time. And I was working my honey off trying to save money in every single way that I could. I line dried all my clothes. I used cloth diapers. I washed every dish by hand, hardly ever used the dryer. We're talking like those shows you see on TLC about the people that don't spend money. I was like borderline, okay? So I never bought anything without a coupon. Like, I'm not joking. So it was very hard. And that just kind of got exhausting. And so I was teaching piano lessons, and that was really interesting with 3 little boys. And I was, substitute teaching online. That was interesting too. I didn't do that one for very long. That one didn't take but just a couple bad days, and that one ended. And so it was really just at that place where I knew my husband couldn't go get another job at the time, just the way that teaching was, and honestly, the way his health was. He could have, but it would have been really hard. And then with the ministry stuff we were doing was, that was that was our life. And then, so I was trusting the Lord to provide in any way that He would, and He sent this opportunity by my way. I didn't want to do it, but before I ever actually took the product, I was talking with people about the business because I was hearing things about people making money. Friends of mine were making money. I'm like, like I need that, and I'm in my prayer closet begging God to send us something. And I never dreamed it would ever look like this. Like I said, I was a teacher. I don't know if I said that. I was a teacher before I stayed home, and my husband was teaching at the time. So that's just in my blood. I love teaching, and I was not going to be like a salesy kind of person. I'm not that way. But here I am 7 years later. Okay, so the end of the story. When I started, my goal was this. I wanted $100 for my grocery budget. And like for $100 for our family, that would have made a huge dent, especially that long ago. 7 years ago, $100 went a long way. But that was my only goal. And I thought, if I can do that, and then we were also saving for a house. And I remember telling my friend, I said, if I could just save like $20 extra a month, because like I said, I was like a very budget person. And I knew that, I would save like $5. If I only had $5 at the end of the month, I'd put $5 towards my house because I was dreaming of a house. We lived in a little trailer with 3 kids at the time, wound up being 4 kids before long, and we were squished. Okay, it was bad. And so we needed help. And so Plexus came along, and I'm just so thankful because my journey wasn't really that fast. My journey's been slow, and that's been okay. I'm like a little Plexus turtle, but here I am. I am kind of like Sarah was talking about. I'm like 2 down from the top of the company, but that's not really what I started for. And that is huge. It's a blessing. It's the icing on my cake. I never asked for that. That was all the Lord. And so crazy things happen though along the way. I have friends who started this company 7-8 years ago. Their husband got laid off in COVID, and if it wouldn't have been for their Plexus business, they would have been in the line for government assistance because they didn't have. And there's nothing wrong with government assistance because we've been there too. But what I'm trying to say is, if it wasn't for Plexus and the way the Lord had orchestrated things, and they wouldn't have been able to feed their family, because their husband got laid off unexpectedly during times. My husband went through a horrible time at his job after he was teaching, and then he was pastoring. Horrible time at his job, and knew the Lord was leading him to step away from that job. Because of my Plexus business, the way the Lord had built it in the first 5 years, he was able to step away from that job. And now he is just a full-time pastor instead of having to work 2 jobs. And so I praise the Lord for that, because I'm just going to be honest, I was not a kind of person who would ever do something like this. And I'm kind of to myself. I just am not the type. And the Lord took all my weaknesses, and he's helped me to grow, and he's helped me to become better at this. But I love helping people. That's what I live for in this business. And that may not be what you live for, but that's what I live for. And I love to help see people get better, but I also love to help people make money, because I know how hard it was for us. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this. And I've just seen the Lord answer so many prayers. Speaking of that little trailer that I told you that I was going to get out of one day, we lived there for 10 years. And because of the extra income stream that Plexus provided for us, I was able to pay that house off. We got out of it. We were debt free, and we put all our money into our house. And it was just amazing how the Lord did that little snowball that Dave Ramsey talks about. And so now my next goal is to pay this house off that I'm in now before 30 years, So anyway, we all have goals and dreams. And so I want you to think outside of your box though. And it may start with something simple like, my child needs sports equipment for the next season, and I'm going to have to put on a credit card if I don't have extra money. Or my husband needs health care. He's not doing well, and we need to get him on good products, but he needs surgery. There's all kinds of things. I've got to meet my deductible, or whatever you have. Or maybe you do have dreams that are big, and you're like, I want to build a house one day. Then I want you to dream big, but also let the Lord guide you. And even if it starts small, it might grow one day. And don't be resistant to something that you thought you would never do. Be willing to give it a try and just see what the Lord does. You've heard everybody on here say, I was not the type to do this. And so just be willing, give it a shot, and see what happens. And put your whole heart into it, and listen to see what the people who brought you here tonight, listen to what they say to do, and just do it and watch the Lord bless it. So that's all we have. I appreciate you jumping on. And I'm just so thankful for all that these ladies shared and just the way that it's helped their families. And I'd love to see that same thing happen for you. So I'm going to stop this recording and thank you again.